This computer. Okay. All right. Welcome to our team call. I wanted to talk about a few things. One is going emerald and going diamond and why we want to do that and how it's not too hard. Also how I'm inviting, and I'd love to hear how you guys are inviting too, and kind of get rid of the stigma that inviting is scary or that it's salesy. And there are good ways to invite and bad ways to invite, so we can kind of like clear the air on that. And then also how to enroll a customer with a coach account versus as a customer. So that's something that I struggled with for a long time, but I feel like the value in this, and it really does help them too, is to add people with coach accounts. So it also gets you to diamond way faster, and it makes it very duplicatable for when they want to start coaching, because that's how they were brought in originally, and that's how it goes. And I will say that is how, hey Angel, I will say that's how I came in, and probably Angel too, like as a discount coach. Did you guys come in as customers, or you didn't either? You were just a customer? I didn't know that. Well, I remember having a conversation with Brigitte just before she sent me the link to enroll, and she was like, so I'm going to have you sign up as with a coach account because, and then, she explained why. And actually the first thought that went through my head was, oh my gosh, this is multi-level marketing. I can't believe I'm about to do this. And then, but I didn't, at that point, I was already sold on what was going to happen. I'm like, I'll just cancel it if I want to. I'd also been had the other accounts, like with other companies, like an oil company and other stuff like that. So I knew that, sometimes that's just how you get the discount or whatever. So anyway, but because that initial thought, then as I enrolled customers, I didn't want them to have that feeling, that nervousness. And so I never recruited discount coaches. I had coaches who were coaches and customers who were customers, and that was it. And I know a lot of people have successfully built teams doing that, and people have successfully built teams adding in a lot of their customers as discount coaches. And I just shifted the way I talk about it, and I'm going to share that with you guys to make it a little bit easier for them to take out that whole ooh, this is multi-level marketing, wait, what kind of feeling, to, oh, that makes total sense and I'm totally comfortable and fine with that. So I will get there. Wow, I just skipped ahead a lot. I basically just started with where I was going to end. So that's fun. Let's see. We have someone joining us on the phone too. Okay. So real quick, the benefits of and why we're all going to be pushing ourselves to go emerald. Realistically, no matter where we are in this business, we should try to go emerald every single month. We should each be adding a new coach on both legs every single month. And that is how you successfully grow business. I will not preach that that's what I've done since I started as a coach. Okay, I've definitely had months where that did not happen. That is where momentum happens. So if you can think of the mentality of, okay, yes, you want Success Club, yes, you want this and that, but if you're growing a team, you want to add a new coach on each leg each month. And for those who are still brand new or not sure about what even that means, don't worry about it. Just find someone that you know would want to have a coach account, and we will help you figure out, okay, this is where you put them. This is where you go in your back office to check all of that. All of that is very easy to explain. So don't let that be the reason that it stops you. But as Angel has said too on lots of calls, is going emerald is just two people that you're helping. Two customers, I was just going to try to mute audio. Okay. I just have everyone muted now. It's just helping two customers or two people. Mine was my husband was one of them. Well, a spouse was one of them. And then the other one was a sister who was like, yeah, sure. Why not? I'll support you, whatever. So it's finding the first two is actually pretty easy. It's as you continue each month, and that requires showing up every day and talking to new people every day and inviting every day, and that's how you get there. Okay, diamond is, you have 8 total, you have 4 on each leg and 4 on each leg. So you can see that if you're consistently adding 1 and 1 and 1 and 1, you are balancing it out, you will get yourself there, and then you're helping 1 on each leg become emerald themselves. So hopefully, realistically, like if you are enrolled, if you have 8, even if they're just in it for the discount, as they're seeing results and as they are like, wow, even if they don't want to build a business, a lot of times they're like, well, I have a friend or I have this, and it's like, okay, it's just the perfect opportunity to be like, if you want to bring them into the next challenge, they could be your customer, they could, this is how you do it. Usually once they get a little bit of that taste, they're like kind of all over it. So not always, but that's my 2 thoughts about that. So yesterday I did secure a house in Santa Monica for the Diamond Retreat. So I have the announcement and I will put it up on our team page today. It's a cute house. It's really close to the boardwalk and the beach and the nightlife and all that kind of stuff. So it's super important. I also contacted the leadership conference that I'm trying to get us all to let them know I was going to have a handful of ladies with me. And so we worked something out with them too. So it's super important that you guys come. Okay. So I think we decided that it was like diamonds by Halloween. Okay. So you really have almost up to like the midnight hour to get yourself there. It has to be like the end of October because we have to plan on, it's mostly so I can make sure I get you a leadership ticket to that conference. But please come because what they're going to be talking about has been, it is invaluable. And a lot of it is leadership, and then it's creating systems that are duplicatable to your team and how to branch out. And I know there's a lot of really great ones out there that work with Beachbody coaches and everything. This guy works with a lot of different marketers, but he has his information and his viewpoint and everything is just brilliant. So it'll be a really great training. It's really meant for people who do have a team, which is why we made this for diamonds, so that it's not overwhelming to somebody who is brand new trying to just start building. So that means, I don't know, like grab your diamond maps and look at what it's going to take to get there and figure out how many coaches you need to enroll and how many people you need to help building their business. If you're not already, you should be at least running 1 sneak peek a month into what is coaching. The most recent girl that I had enroll as a coach, and right now she's coming into it like as a hobby coach. She was the only brand new person I added into my coaching sneak peek. But I went ahead and ran the whole thing. I went live every day, and I knew that the other ladies had already been there, done that. Either they weren't interested or they were already enrolled as coaches. But because I just went ahead and did that, she was like, okay, I'm in. And I was like, I didn't even know. I could have been I thought I was just talking to myself those whole full 3 days. So it's really important that you just go ahead and do it, even if you have nobody, even if you're just talking to the same 8 people that you had the month before, because they don't know that. They don't know. They're not paying attention to who else is in that group. So anyway, if you don't have a sneak peek of your own, you can jump into mine or Angel's or whoever your upline is. Like that's not a problem at all. And to be honest, if you're brand new, that's a good idea because then you can tell your people, look, she's going to train me and she's going to train you. She'll train us together. So I feel like when new coaches are coming in and I'm like, look, please invite to this next one and let your people know that I'm totally training both of you. You guys can be a team in building this business. So I feel like if they feel not so alone that way, they're more, okay, like let's see what this does and see if I can have, somebody come in with me and join me. So that all in a nutshell is why rank advancing is important. And I think commissions are great, but to have the freedom that I know so many of us are working for it comes with building a team. And so that's just kind of where it's at. And it's okay if it takes a long time. It's okay if it takes a short time. I think we all can agree that like this business blesses us in a lot of other ways. So it's okay, even if we're all, just slowly getting there, but there is momentum in that hustle. So there is momentum in bringing in 2 coaches, each month. There's just that is momentum. So, all right. So let's get on to inviting. I know that some of my newer coaches struggle with inviting because, and this is probably where I was too for a long time, because when people are supportive of your fitness journey, like you post your before and after pictures, you value that support. And sometimes you're a little nervous sending them an invite because you don't want to lose them as a friend. You don't want to lose that support. You don't want them to think that, oh, you're paying attention to me. That means you must want to join me. Okay. Now, if you sent out a message that was like, hey, this is what I'm doing now. Oh my gosh, you should totally do it with me. Here's the link. I want you to check this out. I want you to do this. And we all have gotten those messages that are copy and pasted that have the link to the website and everything in there. That's a really bad invite. That's where people get the bad rap. That's the salesy post, okay? The only time I ever send a link in a post is when I've already had permission to send that to them. So never jump ahead. And if you have a friend that's, anyway, okay, I'm jumping ahead now. So don't jump ahead and send those, okay? The best kind of invites are, you just think about, has it blessed your life doing what you've been doing? Was the investment worth it to you? Was the $170 or whatever you're asking somebody, was it worth it to you? Would you recommend it to a friend? Do you feel like the boot camps or your challenge groups are adding value to somebody? And if you really believe that, and if you really think that, then like you kind of owe them the invite. Like you're kind of messed up not inviting them to that. It's like, I'm really happy and I figured out what keeps me happy, but I'm not going to share it with you because I'm not sure why. Like I think it's okay to just get over that and just invite. Okay. So
can I add something?
Yeah.
So one thing that really helped me at the beginning was, it's right along those lines. I was so focused on myself. I was so worried about what people were going to think about me. I was so worried about looking like an idiot. I was so worried about losing friends and being unfollowed and being unfriended and all those like stupid things. I was just thinking about me. But when I turned it around and started thinking about them, just like Amber said, like when I started thinking about them, like, is this going to help them? Can this bless them? Could this add to their life? Could this make them happier? Could this help them lose weight? Because this, like when I just thought about them and thought about what if they went all in and like became a coach and lost the weight and started earning like $500 a month or $500 a week, or like, would this bless their life? Invites became so much easier. I just had to like stop thinking about myself, stop being dumb and being so like self-centered, and just think about others. And it made it a lot easier.
Yeah, I love that and 100% agree with that. And I think that's about the coaching business too. Because I think we also we can get really good at inviting to a fitness group, but we get really shy and clammy when it comes to talking about the business. I'm still kind of the same way sometimes, but that usually comes down to belief. And I'm like, hey, check yourself. Do you believe that what you're doing matters? Do you believe that what you're doing has potential for something? And do you believe that other people can also have success? And then it's like, okay, then like, yes, it's the same thing. Like you want to share that with other people. Okay, so what I do is when you have those really killer transformation posts, and that is usually when somebody decides to become a coach because they just had success. They're sharing their results. They're pumped and excited. This is for sure for a few of my my newer coaches, and they get these likes. They get the comments. We all get that a lot of times. Okay, and sometimes when you're seasonal and they kind of pop up more and more often, that tapers off a little bit. But at the beginning, when there's a whole lot of buzz around your transformation, or it's like a very obvious transformation from a newer program, that is like the prime time to just send, even if it's not an invite, you send a thanks for supporting me. Thanks for liking that. I appreciate it. It's scary putting myself out there. That usually opens the door to a conversation. Like, you bet. I think that's really awesome. You know, thanks. Like, would you be interested in joining the next boot camp? We have a space if you want it. You know, it's so conversational, so casual. I shared this in the Instagram video that I did on Saturday, but shifting over to any of your stories, and I don't think you can see who sees your stories on Facebook, can you? Does anybody know that? You can see? Stacy says yes.
You can see your personal page, not your like
personal page. Okay. So on your personal page you can see, and on your like page you can't, and then on Instagram you can see it whether it's a business account or a personal account. So what I really like is I always go 3 frames in of my story, like, and I just scroll down, and that is straight up who I'm talking to on Instagram. I don't talk to my new followers. I don't talk, well, I mean, that's not true, but I don't start conversations necessarily with them. I am talking to the people who I know are already watching me and are willing to watch at least 3 frames in. And so then I can send a very quick, easy, thank you for watching my Instagram story. I so appreciate the support. Like, for real. This is straight up exactly what I say. Like, for real. Next line, you know, would you be interested in joining the next boot camp? I think it would be awesome to have you. Would you like more information or whatever? And some of them, that's the very first time I've ever messaged them. I'm just saying, Instagram's a different playing field than Facebook, okay? That could be the very first time I've ever messaged them. But because they're watching my story, I feel like they're in my business. They walked into my store, and I'm just asking them if I can help them because they took the time to watch my story, you know? So I'm just letting them know, I see you. I see that you're watching me. I appreciate it, and I'm wondering if I can help you. That's it. And usually I still get no's. I already have a coach, or I am a coach, or whatever. And I'm like, that's awesome. Moving on. Like, that's awesome. If they're already a coach, I usually unfollow them if I'm following them. That's just what I do. Unless I like them, like, unless I really want to watch what they're doing, you know. Anyway, so just know that. And then on posts I do the same thing, but really it's the stories, because I think on posts people just click the button. So unless they're commenting on the post, I really just spend my time interacting with people who are watching my stories. And you guys, whether you're on Facebook or Instagram primarily, like, that's probably where you want to spend your time, is in the stories. And on Facebook, if you're not using the stories, that's fine. But then you do kind of have to show up a little bit more on your page, because people need to get an idea of who you are. So if you're building on Facebook, like, you've got to have a little bit more. And then on Facebook is kind of more where people are reading the posts, I would say. And so that would be if they like or comment on a transformation or a business post or anything, be like the same thing. Thanks for liking on that. I really appreciate it. Is that something you've ever thought about doing? I kind of think you'd be awesome at it. And you just, super simple. And you don't be like, here, you can check out this link. you just say that. Okay, the other thing about, hopefully that gives you an idea of who to invite. Okay, and if you're brand new, of course you have this huge warm market. And I find that if you're just having conversations with people, they're going to see the posts that you're posting. So just by saying, hey, I'm so happy we reconnected. I love how cute your kids are, period. And then they're going to see one of your posts. They're going to like it because you're in a conversation with them. So it's going to pop in their newsfeed. And that's when you can send the invite. That's when you say, thanks for liking that. I appreciate that. Would you be interested in that? Okay, so that's kind of how I would do Facebook. In Instagram, I just go right for the kill. It's like, this is why I'm on Instagram. Do you want to do it or not? You can stick around and be inspired, but you can also, like, do it with me. So I'm a little bit more clear in my intentions on on Instagram. All right, so that kind of is how you send that initial invite and who you send it to. And then it's like the next step. I think the biggest fear we have sometimes is getting the yes. It's one thing to get a no because you're like, well, I did my job, sent the invite. Okay, they're not interested, moving on. But when they say, yeah, send me more information, sometimes we have like a deer in the headlight look, like, wait, what? You're interested? Oh my gosh, what do I do? Okay, and one, that is when you can pop into our team page and go, oh my gosh, what do I do? Okay, because we're all in there and we can help you. It's totally fine. What you don't want to do is send the link and throw up on them and like go 90 miles an hour. Just keep it super simple. I actually have a script that I copy and paste right into that. And I'm going to show you guys. I'm just going to go ahead and pull up some of my conversations so you can just see exactly what I send them, but it's super, super skeleton still. And I always end with, have you heard of Beachbody? So I tell them like basically what the boot camp's about, and then I say, have you heard of Beachbody? Because then they know what it is, and they get a little clue that it's going to be Beachbody. And that like knocks it right out, because if they are a coach already, they're going to tell me. If they already have a coach or have done a Beachbody program, they're going to tell me. If they don't know anything about Beachbody, they're going to tell me. So I really like that. And then after that script is sent out and then they respond, then I get a little bit more, okay, now I'm typing to you. Now I'm talking to you. I get a little bit more like checking out their page and doing that kind of thing and getting the thumbitis or whatever we want to call it. So if you give me just a second, because I don't want to just pull up anybody for you guys. And you'll also see that I get a lot of no's and then, or like skepticism, I should say that more. Like, well, I already have a gym membership, but like, I guess you can tell me the details. And then when I start talking to them, you can almost see the what do you call that? Like the motor running through their brains. Like, well, maybe this would be a better option. They're not ready yet. They still say no, but the seed is totally planted. And I'm like, just so you know, and yep, and if you want, I'll add you to like a future list or whatever. So, does anyone have any questions while I'm like pulling up a few of these? Because I don't want to this would be a good one.
Just want to add that I do the same thing with the asking, have you heard of Beachbody? And you would be shocked at how many people have not heard of Beachbody. Like, I think that because we have a billion coaches in our newsfeed, because we're all coaches, we think that everyone knows about Beachbody, but a lot of people haven't. So I love having that be like the last question.
Me too. It's been really, really, let's see, I'm even going to show you some no's. Okay, so then I'll do her next. Okay, I'm going to screen share this. If you have not downloaded Flume, you're about to see what it looks like. Share screen. You'll also see that my computer is is a disorganized mess. Okay, so just ignore like all of that stuff to the side. Okay, I feel kind of bad because I know that their names are in this and this is a recorded call, but I just didn't have time to print them out, okay? And I know that they're never gonna see this, so it's whatever. So, okay, so this was somebody, I just said, I just want you to know, can you guys see it okay? Is it like big enough? No, it's not big enough. What if I can make that bigger? Oh, I can't make it bigger. Is it because my screen's too big and then it's too little in the corner? Okay, let me see something here. Hold on a second. Oh my gosh, it allows me to just share Flume. What about now? Did that work? Oh, that's so awesome. Okay, so I will go really fast, but you can see it takes a lot of conversation for stuff to get through. But I'm like, hey, I just want you to know I love following you. You're seriously a cool mom. This is kind of random. I'm putting together my next group. If you're interested, I'd love you to be part of it. And then I just get really simple. So this is actually an older invite of mine. This is a different one than I used this month. Oh, that was July 30th though. So you can always evolve those, as you get more comfortable with your voice and who you are. And she was definitely interested. Okay. So then I'm like, are you familiar with Beachbody was my next follow-up question on the next little bit. And then she's like, well, I know, but I'm only on Instagram. Is it possible to just do the app kind of a thing? And then I talk about real briefly the app. And then I asked, she didn't answer my question about Beachbody. So I asked her, well, do you have goals, what you're working on? What do you do right now for fitness? And then she just opened up to me. Now, she knows my husband. They used to work together a really long time ago when he was still a student, I think. But we don't know each other at all. This is our very first conversation we've ever had with each other, okay? But because she's been watching my stories, I felt like I could just talk to her. So she, kind of opens up. She has a gym membership. She, and then, okay, and remember when Messages was doing something funny and, it would erase all of your new messages? I don't know if any of you guys have experienced that, but that's what happened here. So I didn't see your message for a long time. Okay, and then we just keep talking, and then she's like, this sounds somewhat familiar. They have the Shakeology shakes, right? And then I'm like, okay, so she's kind of familiar, but not really familiar. And then I'm like, yes, in a nutshell. Then I always give them the price because that's really all they need to know. That's all that's left is the price. So then I'm like, wow, that's it in a nutshell. The online membership streams your workouts. You will work out and figure out which one best suits your goals. Do you have weights? If not, just let me know. We do drink Shaco and we log that. I'm a big fan. I'll send you the link if you don't mind sharing your email. For everything you need to get started, it's $170. This includes. I always tell them, even if I've told them before, if I drop the price, I always tell them what's included in the price, even if I have said it a million times before it comes in a challenge pack. Okay, I feel kind of weird sharing these with you. Are you critiquing my everything? Okay, so then we just keep going. She bought a challenge pack just in a group. Okay, now I wonder if I sent it here or on the email. Okay, so we never talked about coaching once, right? In that whole invite. I don't know if you guys, I'm sorry if I'm going too fast on scrolling there. I'm going to pull up the email that I sent her. So when she gave me the email, Stephanie. Hold on. Need the sent mail. I'll tell you exactly what I said to her. Because I enrolled her as a discount coach even though we never talked about coaching. Okay? And I mean, I explained it to her, but where are you? Okay, hold on a second. Okay. I said, okay, you're all set. This is when I sent her the link to enroll. And I said, so I went ahead and sent the link for the coach membership, basically a VIP membership, no extra cost. It serves you if you decide to have Shaco longer than month 1. So for my challenge groups, I don't know what you guys do, but I just require Shakeology for the first month. If they cancel Shakeology, I still let them stay in the groups. So that's just something I've always done. And I usually explain that when they're like, wait, what's the cost? I'm like, look, it's the first month cost. If you don't want the shakes anymore, I don't really care, but everybody has to try it at least, So anyway, I said, it serves you if you decide to have Shaco longer than a month 1. There's a $15 fee for that membership after the first 30 days, but you get a dang good deal on your Shaco the next month. It'll save you more than the $50 fee. But I only want you to keep that if you decide to continue with Shaco. After about 3 weeks, I'll check in, and if you love Shaco and want to continue, we'll leave the account as is. If you hate it, then we'll cancel the account. Does that make sense? And that's what I did. And that is what I have been doing since. So it's really helped and I can send you a copy of that if you want the written of that. Stacy says yes. So I will just stick that in the comments of this video. But I just let them know right away, it's going to serve you if you decide to continue with Shaco. If you're not going to continue with Shaco, we'll just cancel it. It's not a big deal. And that's true. That's the honest truth. And I've had people cancel after the first month their coach account, and it's actually not it's really not a big deal. They even do it on their own. They tell me they're doing it, but they just go ahead and do whatever the paperwork that they need to do, and it's done. So there's that one. And then let me see. Okay, so this is a different example of, you guys see how Flume works? It's kind of nice. You can't, oops. Okay, this is a really cute girl, and someday she's going to be a coach on our team. Okay. Oh, you can't, oh, that's just a reply to the story. Okay, so I had responded to a story. You can't see it because Flume will not do it if it's like a disappearing message. So any replies to stories you can't see on your computer. You can only see it on your phone. So that's where you get the temporary disappearing message. It's because it was responded to a story. So also, when I look at who's watching my stories, if they also have stories, I watch their stories. So that's like I feel like you're watching me, I'm going to watch you before I watch all the other ones that I'm following because you watch me. So if I only have time to watch yours, that's the most important one. So I sent this, and this has been this is what I've been doing for this whole month, and it's worked really well for me. Hey, thanks for watching my stories. I really appreciate the love. And second, would you be interested in participating in a fitness mindset boot camp? Would you like more details? I'd love to have you join us, period. And you can see that I replied to one of her stories, and that was the only interaction we've had. And I responded with that message. And then she's like, well, she has a broken toe. That's so cute. No pun intended. Anyway, I'm meeting with the potatoes to talk next steps. Anyway, I'm telling you, she's going to be great someday. I'm already meditating on it. And then, like, we just kind of left it with that because she's not ready for this boot camp. But this is when a person gets on my list. So I actually just use the messages to keep track of them. She starred, so if she messaged me back, she will be in my priority inbox. But this is really bad, you guys, but I've always been really bad at writing lists. And so now she's on the list because I know that I have to reach out to her to follow up, and I can't just randomly find her watching my stories, although she consistently watches my stories, so she's usually in my story list anyway. So I'm like, I watch her stories if she has any and whatever. So she is definitely someone who is going to be in the future. And when I follow up with her, it will not be, oh my gosh, this girl's trying to get me to join her boot camp. It will be, oh, she remembered me. She wanted to see how my toe was doing and wants me in her next group. Does that make sense? I will show you a few more if you want them. I don't know if you do, but some conversations go on forever. Forever and ever. I can't remember if that one had the follow-up in there or not. Let's see.
Hey, Amber.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I struggle with is like coming up with different inviting messages for people that I've invited multiple times. So like how often do you change it? Or like, what do you say when you've invited them 2 or 3 times and they keep saying, maybe next time, or keep following up, or not right now?
Okay, that's a good one. I will pull up one of those conversations, actually. So this is a girl that is well, she supposedly is enrolling this week with the coach account, but I don't know. So way back in the day, July, it feels like so long ago on Instagram, you guys, because I don't know why. Let's see. Okay, actually in April, she did a poll for the 80-day obsession group, if you can see that. So way back in April, hey, first, I'm happy to be Instagram friends. Second, I saw your interest on the poll. You guys, when there is a poll for a challenge group, you might only get 2 people that say I'm interested, but those 2 people are worth sending a message to. It's worth having the poll on there because chances are they are. So you don't need to read this whole thing, but she basically is like, well, I do this. She is not LDS, but she works out with an LDS community at their church. And so they do Beachbody programs. So she's like, well, I don't know. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I love the idea of a mom group for this program. Whatever, does that make sense? So she continues, and I'm just going to skip ahead because she decided not to come in with 80-day obsession. She was like, you know what? We decided to do insanity could you compare those for me, whatever. So I'm adding a lot of value to her, even though she's like, I decided to just do Insanity. We already own it, you know, whatever. So I went ahead and broke that down. And then we continued this conversation. We're already in May. She injured her knee, so now she's out with an injury. Then she wanted right here. I'd like to order. Can you see my mouse too, by the way? Okay. When she's like, well, I'd like to order a few products. So this is like a month later. What's the best way to do that? So I'm like, well, you could do it, whatever. I just told her whatever. And then I'm like, well, I hope you're feeling better. And then I'm following up with her. It's been a week. I haven't heard from you. Do you still want those links? I'm just waiting to know if you want a coach membership or not, because she talked about getting a discount. She's like, hey, my niece doesn't feel right. You know, for sure, good luck thing, injuries. Then it's just a story reply. More 80-day obsession stuff. When are you starting? Hey, July 16th. She still isn't starting with us. Oh, we're going to be vacationing. I forgot about the knee. LOL, road trip. So many mixed feelings. Blah, 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 blah. We are responding to stories. I drove through her hometown on my road trip with my kids. So she was like, dang it, we could have gotten together. That's what that was. And I'm like, oh, that would have been fun. So then July, now we're in July. So it's been a long time. And I'm like, hey, I know you're camping and having fun, but I'm sending this now so I don't forget. I'm doing a sneak peek into the life of a coach, and I think you should join us. So even though she's only talked about coaching for the discount and that kind of thing, I just switched it up just a little bit because I do think that she would make an amazing coach. She already works out with people. And I'm like, hey, come in, you know, whatever, let me, you know. And it took a few days. By the way, she did join that sneak peek. She still is not enrolled as a coach. She started reading Rachel Hollis because I had told her to, which is kind of fun. Then I was like, this is recent, August 14th. Hey, want in the next boot camp, maybe as a coach? Like, it's just like, just these tiny little, like, I'm still thinking about you. Do you want to come in as a coach? You know what I mean? What program will you be doing? Well, it's kind of whatever, you know? And then she's like, can't beat them, join them, eh? You know? So she's like, well, I guess, you know, what the heck? I mean, just imagine if I would have walked away from her the second she was like, well, we just decided to do this. You know what I mean? And then she's like, well, I have sliders and bands, blah, blah, blah. So we talked about stuff. I sent her the link. It never happened. Okay. And then we talk about my husband, which I have to always talk about because the link is always in his name and people freak out. And I'm like, I promise it's me and not a man that's going to be coaching you. And then she just kind of like stopped. August 21st. Hey, planning on the next boot camp. Did you find the link? Just want to make sure you're ready to go. So that's just a follow up. She did respond, but with, have you ever been to the MGM? I need to know if these seats are good or not, which is fine because by now you guys have been talking long enough that I actually really do like this girl and like we are friends, you know, even though this is the only conversations we have. Once again, I watch her stories and she watches my stories. So we also know each other that way. I respond. Okay. And then I'm like, obviously she's not responding to what I'm saying. So I'm just going to wait a second. And then yesterday at 2:48. So I just wanted you to know I'd like to sign up as a coach to get the discount. Do I use the same link that you sent? But I also want Energize. So I actually redid it for her so that she had Energize included in her link. So now has she, according to ShareACart, she has still not checked out. Okay. So I don't know how long this will go on for, but hopefully that kind of, I'm going to stop sharing for a second, but hopefully that kind of gives you like, it's totally their timeline. It's totally their timeline. And we're just here to check in with them and that kind of thing. And I have a lot of people that the follow-ups are, I do change the wording of the follow-up. I always, you know, I can always see my previous messages with them. So if they've said not right now or not whatever, my message to them is, hey, it's been a while. How are you doing? And I just leave it at that. Like, I don't even talk about the thing because chances are if they've told you they're not ready, but they will be ready, they kind of organically get to that because they're like, they almost feel a need to explain themselves as far as why they haven't gotten back to you about a challenge. And so they kind of take the lead almost with that. And if they don't, that's fine. They say how they're doing. You're like, cool. And then I usually will be like, and this is why you have to always have a group starting. I usually will be like, I do have a group starting on this day, you know, no pressure, but if you're ready, I'm ready for you. And then you just kind of leave it at that. Does that make sense? And then with coaching, I've just gotten a little bit more bold because I'm like, just like you just saw, like, do you want in as a group? Maybe as a coach, question mark, question mark. Because I'm like, you know, and admittedly, there are a handful of women I follow on Instagram who I love following. And I, for a long time, I was terrified to send them an invite to coaching or to a challenge group, even though I felt like coaching is what I should invite them to. It took me a long time because I didn't want to lose the relationship I had with them because I liked this person. They were watching my stories too. I was like, I feel like a popular kid. And I'm like, if I invite her and she, you know, whatever. And I wish I could I should show you some of those conversations because none of them are coaches and none of them joined a challenge group. But I invited them, the seed was planted, and they still watch my stories, and I still watch theirs, and we're all still friends. Like, it actually doesn't change your relationship. Now, it would if I would have sent an invite that was like, here's a link, okay? But because it was, I love following you on Instagram, you have a way with words, I think you would be an amazing coach, and it would be an amazing way to get your message to more people. I've straight up sent that to a few people who I think they just have a way, like they are influencers, you know, in their little worlds that I think could be expanded. I think of the Mindy Wenders out there is what I think about, which is, for those of you who don't know, was like this shy person that blossomed because of coaching. So if they are already openly sharing personal stuff or struggles they've had that they've overcome, they are great potential coaches because they know how to share their story already. And so it's kind of like, and there's been a few mom bloggers that I'm like, hey, you could totally do this and like showcase it and like rock star this as a business. And a lot of them are like, I don't get involved in groups or involved in whatever, but I really appreciate the invite. I really appreciate following you. And you know what? You just never know. The seed is there. It's planted. And I just think it's, it's just about getting that seed in there and then not being scared once they say yes. Have the follow-up for when they say, can I have more information about your upcoming group? Have that already ready to go because then it takes the deer in the headlights and you can just go, here, this is what it is. And then wait to see if they know about Beachbody, and then you can kind of take it from there. After that, you can't really script because it depends on what they say. But, I mean, we can always you can always snap a shot of your conversation that's going on and stick it in our team page. And we are totally happy to give you feedback. And as much as I want to say, like, anybody can invite, because anybody can, it is a skill that requires practice. So you have to actively be practicing inviting to make it an organic, easy, not salesy come across, if that makes sense. And when you're out of practice of it, then it just, Also, I haven't finished the wake-up call, but I sure have been trying to. So I get pockets here and there. But one thing that I appreciated that I've heard so far on it was when she said, it did not work for me to do all of my invites every day. And, Keisha talks about this too, because she also does not invite every day, and they break it into these time blocks. And I told Brigitte once, like, this is my invite goal. And she was like, okay, what if you just set a timer and just like try to get as many as you could in that time instead of I'm not moving until I have at least X amount of invites done. And so I think that it's more like, don't worry so much about the tracker app the tracker business activity tracker is so great for like the numbers at the end of the week. But if it's easier for you to spend a whole day just talking to people, and then the next day, not the whole day, sorry, your whole business hour talking to people, and then the next day you spend that hour inviting other people or inviting people that you've done. There was one coach who spoke a long time ago, and I really liked her approach too. She said she starts every week with 20 names on her paper, just 20 names on her paper. She messages them all that day and interacts with them. And come Friday, she invites them. So it's like she's thinking about them, she's caring about them, she adds value to them, and then she invites them. So she's getting in her 20 invites a week, you know, and that was her goal. And but she does it in a very that for her that worked organically for her to do it that way. So don't sit down to your power hour and feel like, oh my gosh, I need to do this in this order. This is where practicing takes place. So yes, do those things and then figure out your groove and figure out how it feels good to you and your business and how you can show up with your best energy and talk to people and invite people and story with people. I did not get it in my story last night because my son's birthday's today, and anyway, last night was kind of a blur because I didn't do any planning until 8 p.m. And I mean like texting moms going, is there a way your son could come over tomorrow? Okay, Angela's another call. Thanks. And I'll wrap this up too. My point is that on my stories, I do a talking face-to-face invite every day. So that either to the business or to a challenge group. So that when I am sending those private invites, they already kind of know that I do that. Does that make sense? You're taking a picture, Stacy? I want one too. Okay, hold on. I like boomerangs because they're so fun. Okay, hold on. Okay, we have a bubble that's not there, but okay, everybody wave. Here's the wave. Oh, you guys are so cute. And you guys are put together. This is like the second day this week. My power hour started without a shower, but I'm like, I cannot shower because it's my power time. Oh my gosh. Just a stinky, disgusting mess. But
this is 3-day hair. So there you go.
There you go. Hey, Susie, are you just getting on or have you been on? Wait, hold on. You're muted. Let me unmute you. Okay, you're unmuted. Now you can tell me.
I was on the whole time. I couldn't figure out how to pull up the video, and so I kept hitting all over my phone, and I just figured it out. So that's my accomplishment.
Hey, you know what? That is a step in the right direction. That is a step in the right direction. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, wait. I need to re-boomerang. Re-boomerang. Oh, that should go in there. Okay, now everybody wave again. Sorry. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I know it's silly, but I'll post it in the group and you guys will thank me for it. I'll even tag you guys in Instagram. But okay, good. Susie, I'm glad that you got to hear that. Thanks for holding on so last minute too. Sorry that I just got that to you. I'm like, here's the link. By the way, we're starting right now. That's how today has been. That's how this week is going. But anyway. Okay, any questions before we hop off?
Yes.
Marcy.
So I'm just getting my feet wet with inviting, but I did invite a new customer to coach, and that worked good. And I really liked your script, your email. So if you could,
yeah, I will put them in the group for sure.
But isn't it kind of a process? Is there? I don't know if it's updated since I did it, but basically you have to pay the $40 fee, and then they refund it to you. Is it still okay?
So if they have bought a challenge pack in the past.
Well, so no, new customer. What if you're doing a new customer coach sign up?
Yeah, so if they're brand new and they're enrolling with a challenge pack,
it's
waived. Yeah, so it doesn't show up at all on there.
So
reimbursement or anything, it's just not.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. So when you say, so I usually tell people it's $170. I think it's like $160, but with tax and everything, it comes to $170, and that's it. And there's no, Yeah. So that enrollment fee is not there. If they were signing up and they'd already bought the challenge pack in the past, or they weren't using one, then they would have the $40 fee. But without it, with the yeah. So you don't have to worry about that. So that email is all truthful, and it doesn't cost them anything extra to.
So is there a form they have to do to get it waived, or how does that work?
No, so when they enroll, as soon as they hit whatever challenge pack they want, it automatically just removes the cost. So
So it's just a different link, basically.
Yeah, well, it's in the same, it just real times it. It just real times it makes it disappear. But if you haven't used ShareAcart, and I'm guessing that you haven't.
I've filled one out for somebody, but I don't think they ended up using it. Yeah.
Let me show you guys something in my ShareAcart. So if you go to, I'm going to turn this. I'm hoping that you can see my screen, but dang it. If you go to Beachbody Links, which looks like the BB right there.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
The BB. Okay, if you go into that and you go to resources, and you can go back and watch this too if you like, and you go to enrollment tools, ShareAcart.
Yep.
Okay. Once you are in there, you can put the cart together for them to enroll as a coach.
Okay.
And what I like, let me sign in really fast. What I love about ShareAcart, this blew my mind, guys, is if you hit view status,
Uh-huh.
can you see it kind of? You hit view status, you can see, oh my gosh, I wish my phone, you can see what's been sent, if they've opened it and viewed it, and if they've purchased with it.
Okay.
So I like it because maybe if I turn my lighting down, I can see everybody that I have sent a link to. And when they get the link, it is literally like, you're enrolling as a coach with this challenge pack and this Shakeology flavor, and here it is, which is why you do have to know ahead of time from your new coach or customer. What's your email? Do you want, what flavor Shakeology do you want? You know, that kind of thing. And then you can see if they've purchased, and then it's like real time if they've purchased it. And so I really like it because I can tell if they've opened the link or not, even like if they've looked at it. So then I will follow up. But
so that's through your BB Links, not through the like coach app.
So you can access it through any of them. I just like BB Links because all my information is stored in there. It's just the app I use of choice for me. Because
you can also just bookmark it to your home screen. That's what I did. So I have ShareAcart and it goes right to it.
You know, that would be good. I just learned ShareAcart in the summer when I was traveling, because it was like too hard to create links and create stuff. And then I was like, wait, ShareAcart, brilliant.
Yep.
Such a great resource. So, and Susie, I know you're like, ShareAcart, what is all this crazy? But luckily there is, like, you could Google how to use ShareAcart, and there are coaches that have done trainings on how to use ShareAcart, I'm sure. But of course you can also ask me too. But anyway, yeah, that's made a big difference because it's anyway. And so if you go in ShareAcart, Marcy, you can see exactly the breakdown of the costs and everything. So you'll see when you enroll them as a coach that fee is gone. The fee is there until you select what challenge pack they're going to have, and then it's gone. So it just seems to make sense, because if they enroll as a customer with a challenge pack, eventually you're going to ask them if they want the coach account, and then they'd have to pay the $40 fee and get it reimbursed. And that's a lot harder to ask than to say, hey, I did enroll you with a coach account. I want to make sure that that's okay. This is why, and I always say it's just a VIP membership, so you get a discount, and it takes away that stigma that they have to like actually coach people. So does that help? Any other questions?
I have a question about Instagram. I don't know how much you want to delve into Instagram.
I'm fine. Let's go for it.
So I'm just starting to build it and figuring out hashtags and whatnot. And hey, can you turn that off? So I'm just curious about the, like, on my business, because it's a business, at the top it says, you know, like 51 people have viewed your profile in the last 7 days. I'm trying to figure out like how to work that to my advantage. Like, I'm thinking that's a bad thing if 51 people have viewed my profile, but I don't have 51 new followers. Like, how am I supposed to like take that?
Well, I am curious if that also includes like current followers, like if they
maybe
or seeing a post. But you're right. Like the goal would be to have, and to Marcy, like sometimes it's really hard because you're going to be adding people that you don't even know if you want to follow or not. Like you kind of know, but you're also playing with that. And so if they come to your page, you might have 51 people come to your page and maybe only like 10 people stay or 5 people stay. But those 5 people are your people and the other ones are just not, you know, like, and that helps you. And every once in a while, you know, you go through and you can see who, Brigida has a really good training on this too. Like, because she uses an app, a followers app, so she can see who she's following, but they're not following her. And then you can unfollow people. And so just, I think that it can sometimes it does mess with you because I will get like a few thousand people viewing my profile and not a few thousand new followers, like not very many people, you know, whatever. And so instead of like, or I'll follow a bunch of people and all of a sudden like I'm following almost as many as are following me back. And I don't like that. Like that freaks me out. And so it's just a matter of just trusting that the people, like you're putting yourself out there and the right people will stick around. And then you just let go of the other people and just, you know, and that's where it's different than Facebook. So, you know, but like good hashtags to use probably right now too are like first day of school, like just really popular ones like that, like first grader, second grader, like back to school people, even the hashtag back to school, because those are huge hashtags with lots of people, but you know that most of those are moms. So those would be good ones to go and like just follow too. And I know Brigida takes the time to like go in, but sometimes I'll just be like follow, and then walk away, and then just. And you know what else is hard, and as you grow your account, you'll feel this too, is when you have 300 people that have seen your first story frame, and then like 125 people that stuck around for the second frame. And so you just have to have a thick skin and just know it's just a business and people are coming into it, and sometimes it just doesn't serve them right now, or they don't connect with you or something, and it's okay. And you're just like, all right, well, I'm going to concentrate on those 125 that stuck around, you know, and be great. You know what I mean? So growing an Instagram account is tough. It's tricky.
Yeah.
It takes
Did
time.
you ever promote posts on Instagram?
I don't. I do see them. I don't. I have not. I used to promote some posts with my like page on Facebook, and I just got, it wasn't quality people that were responding to them. I mean, I'm sure they're good people, they're quality people, but they weren't the people that I was looking for. So I kind of feel like I'd rather have them kind of more organically come. Now, that being said, I do use something called Stim Social. So instead of hiring somebody to go find hashtags and like them, I don't want to put the time into that. It's like one of the few jobs I don't want to do. So I didn't hire somebody necessarily, but I do pay for a service. It's like $40 a month. And I tell them which accounts I like and then they go and follow women who follow those accounts or are engaging with those accounts. And so, but I do get a lot of, I mean, sometimes I get people following me back that I'm like, whoa, we can never be friends. Unfollow, you know? So it is like that's been a game too. I decided with Stim Social, like I haven't talked a lot about it with the team yet because I'm trying to figure it out and I'm trying to see if it's worth it. And I know, like, for example, Brigitte has tried it and she doesn't use it. She's like, nope, and I want to do it my way, this way. And I know other coaches like Breezy Bitter, if you know who she is, she's just another coach on Forward Fitness, who uses it and it worked and it serves her really well. So I just decided at the beginning of the summer that I was going to figure out Instagram. And if anything, so that I could make a video like I did on Saturday and teach it to our team. And I feel really good about Instagram, and I don't think you need Stim Social to grow, but I do think eventually, like, that is something you could ask a teenager or a friend, somebody to do for you. So, but you still have to do the work as far as these are the hashtags I like, or this is the audience that I want. And, you know, like one time I wanted to pay somebody, but like, I paid somebody for a day to find followers on Instagram, and it was like all of a sudden all these men and all this, like I was like I had such anxiety. I was like, shut it down. Whatever you're doing, just shut it down. I don't want anything to do with, like, no men, no nothing. Like, I don't want to ever talk to you again. I'm changing my password. Like, so I mean, that's just how it is. But yeah. So I do think, like, if you just spend, I do think before you can hire it out, you have to figure it out. So get into a groove and a system, and then you can be like, okay, I will use this, you know, whatever. It could be Stim Social or it could be a teenager, you know, but first figure it out where your target, where your people are. And then, you know, yeah.
One thing that I've learned, because I've been really focusing on adding to my network, is the hashtags haven't really worked for me, like when I just use them on my posts, because I was getting all business people. And it was when I started actually actively going out and just adding people. I started with like searching hashtags. It just took forever. But for me, like, I find boutiques, clothing boutiques that I like, and I go to their followers, and those are like my people because they like the same kind of clothes that I like, or the same sizes. And I add like 100 people a day just by doing that. And it's super fast because I just look at their profile. And if they look like someone I want to be friends with, or that they look like me and friendly, then I just add them. And then I use followers, and I will unfollow people that aren't following me after so long. Or if they unfollow me, I'll unfollow them. So it's just been a really good way to grow fast.
Yeah, I like that. And one other suggestion too. So I use a hashtag. I don't really use it. I follow it. So you can follow hashtags too, like a person, but you follow a hashtag. And I follow a NICU hashtag. So some babies in the NICU have thousands of followers. They're a popular account, but a lot of times I get photos that pop up. Somebody used the NICU hashtag and they just have, you know, like 30 likes on their picture, and they're not a big account. They're just people that have these hashtags. And I'm like, I can relate. I could add value to anybody that's in the NICU. I could be like, girl, like, hang in there. Like, that sucks, but you are awesome. I'm like a warrior mama, you know? And so I like following certain hashtags. Those are not personal development hashtags. Those are not business hashtags. They are something where I know, and it could be like Stacy said, like some sort of like trendy, you know, whatever. Like if I was into fabrics, my mom owns a quilt shop. So for her, I would be like, you should be following these hashtags, like certain fabric brands, certain whatever, because the people who are using them, you automatically have and can relate to. So just think about some sort of hashtag that you would want to follow that's not going to be saturated with coaches already or saturated with other home businesses. And that's where you can't have a hashtag that you follow that's like a Rachel whatever her name was, hashtag, or a, Shalene Johnson, or any kind of like, be better, or this is our year, or something like that. You need hashtags that are very specific to something you've been through, something you've done, something that you're interested in, that opens up very organic conversation. And then when you're scrolling your news feed, you're like, oh, I can relate to you. I'm going to follow you, and I'm going to comment on this. And then you just, I like that a lot. So anyway, hopefully that helps. Any other questions? Marcy, you do such a great, I really like your Instagram account.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I feel like the actual, when you go to my profile, I feel like that needs help because I've just been revamping it. And I actually just started using that for Beachbody like earlier this year. So before that, it was my family account. And so I wonder if that freaks people out that when they look at my profile, like I've posted almost 3,000 pictures on there. Because it used to be my family account.
No, I think that's okay.
You don't think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really, when somebody, that just means you've been on Instagram longer than they have, probably.
Yeah.
But also, it really just matters. And I see coaches reposting the same quotes, the same pictures from like way further down in their page. I think it really just matters what you currently have and like the one scroll.
Yeah.
So like just think about what you look at when you look at somebody's. It's really just your most recent 3 weeks or 4 weeks. And so really it's more like, do I have quality posts for the last month on there?
Okay.
And then that's all anyone will look at. It's no one is going to go like this all the way to the beginning. Now I have done that on a few accounts, like kind of stalkerish, like, I want to see where it started, where did it all started? But for the most part, it's mostly about, and that's why I only post like every 3 days. I'm so bad at it, but it's because I refuse to put something on there that is just like something I could story. Like I would rather have it be like a shop that they're walking into and like they could get value out of whatever they're looking at.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't know why, but I used to post a lot more. But yeah, I feel like my stories are more real and more me. And
yeah.
But anyways, I did message a new follower, don't know her, and she replied back and told me that she loved my stories and loves my pictures of food. So I'm like, yes.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. And that's when like, see, and she's comfortable, like she likes you.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, she's my person.
Yeah.
So.
Which is awesome.
That's good.
Okay, I'm going to end this recording.